more you mention it, it seems like the patched HVK, like towards the end of Black Ops 3,
Yeah.
where it was extremely effective. You'll see it in long-range, close-range situations. And, you know, it was even like when you saw people running the ERAD, the submachine gun, when we were planning for weapon draft, you saw a lot of people, like, use the OSA and, like, take out those players close range.
Now, one thing that Orbit have to keep in mind here, I'm not sure how much they've studied up on FaZe coming into, you know, this weekend's tournament. FaZe are one of the teams that love to use grenades, whether it's the Flechette or the Jammer. And this is a game where some teams, they want to stack the weapons as much as possible. I wonder if Orbit are going to be ready.
Why have you thought we have not seen people go towards the lethals and the tacticals thus far?
I feel like because it's such a fast-paced engagement, sometimes you feel like you're slowed down so much by taking the time to toss out either a Flechette or a Jammer. You'd rather get in there. And keep in mind, most of your engagements are going to be happening with your weapon as well. So if you're able to stack attachments on your gun, sometimes we see up to like 4 attachments on any certain weapon, just going to make you that much more lethal around the map. Yeah,
and as we kind of just cycle around talking about all the different topics we can touch on, you know, watching a lot of the games, I expected like the payloads to be like big difference makers, right? But we haven't.
We're not seeing a lot aside from the claw.
Overdrive.
Yeah,
the
claw's like the only weapon that we see.
Yeah, the claw is really the only one that we've seen, but we haven't seen anyone go on like these crazy streaks with it. Like I expected to see, you know, players get the claw and lock down hard points, or you know maybe one of the other weapons like an equalizer, an eraser, or some.
Oh man, I love the equalizer. Yeah. I totally understand why the players prefer, you know, an ability like a rewind here, but the equalizers are definitely one of the more stronger like
I feel like
we'll
get to a point in Infinite Warfare, obviously like we're super early in, like where you'll see players go away from the abilities, or maybe not all of the abilities, right? I think you'll still have your reactive armors, you'll still have your camos and your overdrive, like I feel like Rewind is one that in respawn game modes I feel like will find its way like cycling out, and I feel like you'll see another weapon coming in. I feel like you just get so much more from one of the weapons.
I mean, just like theory crafting a little bit here. Imagine what a player like maybe Zuma or Attach could do with the equalizers in his hands. Sure, it takes a long time to one, but I can just imagine them just wreaking havoc in a hard point.
Is the potential of getting one use of those better than Rewind?
Than like 2 or 3 rewinds? I think that's exactly why they choose to shift more towards the ability over the weapon, is because you get more usage out of it. And keep in mind, Rewind, obviously you can compare it to Glitch in the past, but it's a more stronger version here. You regenerate your ammo, you get your health back. As now the map is starting, everybody's in the game. Breakout hardpoint, FaZe versus Orbit. Let's get this going.
Now we'll start things off with Enable. We talked a lot about him pre-game, but Enable taking a little bit more of a leadership role on this FaZe team this year. Nah, he'll be rocking the OSA here early.
And take a look at his class as well. He's only got 3 attachments on the OSA, stacking up on the perks. So just playing it safe here as he makes his way towards the hard point. He's going to be met by Orbit players to see through the X-ray vision. Early nades coming in from Zuma. Going to pick off rated there as he makes his way inside. That's all 4 down for Orbit, and FaZe already had the perfect setup going.
Well, not a good start for Orbit. They actually just trying to push through the middle of the map. It's some nades and tacticals coming in from the side of FaZe that throw them for a loop, and I wonder, actually, it's quite interesting because obviously we have not been able to watch a ton of Orbit. Obviously an EU team, we don't get a chance to see a ton of their scrims. I wonder if teams in Europe are running lethals and tacticals. I wonder if it's something that they don't see quite often.
I mean, we do see Zero. He's got the Flechette grenade on, and there we go. Blast shield, tack resist as well. And I really liked what I saw from Orbit right there. Zero took the time to overextend all the way through to break out of that spawn trap, but FaZe, they waste no time getting back set up. As less than 10 seconds remaining on this first hard point. Enable here to trade the kill out onto Urban, but as he falls, it's going to be Clayster now leading the rotation for FaZe as we move over towards the cell block.
Yep. It'll be Clay with 2 players here for Orbit to get through. He's actually able to just push all the way out, and he takes out Rated. Now looking towards the opposite side of the hard point, just trying to stay alive, wait for his players with the OSA to get closer, and just be able to take these players out from close quarters. He's able to get 1, but it's going to be 3 kills that go down for Orbit. But look at FaZe, they still control those spawns, Revan.
Yeah, because Attach is staying alive in the back. Now they flood on into the hard point, looking to make the trades work in their favor. I got to switch over to this guy, Urban, on a 4 kill spree right now as he gets hit by a Jammer. He's going to be making his way around the back wall run, fighting the FaZe players coming off respawn as he gets shut down. Has left up the Raiders, working with Zero inside the hard point as it's going to be Orbit establishing a lead here.
Yeah, and you see FaZe just still relentlessly pushing this hard point. They're able to get in for a split second, but here comes Urban over the top, just trying to just wait for some teammates, but he's going to get taken out. So actually a
Clay
pretty
leading
good
the
break there.
rotation.
Yeah, pretty good break there from FaZe, but here comes the rotation. You see Clay getting set up. This is looking very good for FaZe.
And look, it's so important that you hold the cavern here as we move over towards the graveyard hardpoint. In important interactions now going down with Clay as he takes down Rated. His teammates desperately trying to move over. Clay's done a great job staying alive for the time being. Control the hardpoint as they start to fly in, and now he's starting to get some help from his teammates as Zuma is able to find two. Clay staying alive into the hardpoint. Still, he's done such a massive job of coming around the flank. It's going to be Joe. He's able to find two. Can't get the third. As three go down for FaZe, it's going to be Orbit pushing in, taking control of the hardpoint as they look to come back into the game.
And I feel like FaZe right there, if they had more players getting close to the hardpoint to like push through and keep Clay alive, that this could have been a hill where they could have taken almost the entire time on it. But there was just no support there for Clay.
I mean, maybe if Clay was able to commit over towards cavern, push on through, and play that corner over near the guard tower, that's an angle that we've seen players just be a nuisance in. Just cut off the rotation as teams turn the corner and immediately focus over near cavern. But now we see Zuma in the power position for this hardpoint, able to find one, but he's quickly traded out. Enable now following up inside the hardpoint. Can't clean that one up. As Orbit doing a great job of breaking through, but looks like both teams just kind of splitting time there. Now the rotation over towards the final hard point. You already have Rated set up near the back scanners, holding the anchor for his team. Zero does spawn up near him, as now it's FaZe starting to build a lead. They're up by roughly 30 points.
Yeah, but you look, and it's two players for Splice over at the next hill, and it's for Splice. It's actually hilarious. It's two players for Orbit over at the next hill, and you see FaZe, they just overwhelmed it with three, but it's going to be Orbit. They're finally able to break it, get inside of the hard point. It's going to be Joe here, and you know exactly where FaZe is going to be coming from.
Yeah.
They're trying to get across the wall run. This is a dangerous spot to be in. It's pretty easy to get picked off when trying to come across.
FaZe should just wait for Clay to make a play. Coming around back, he finds one, gets the second as well, but his teammates all died moving across the wall run, but the spawn's now going in favor of FaZe as they have two players inside the hard point. We see Orbit trying to push him through the middle of the map, pitching on through. Time's starting to wind down on this hard point as FaZe are going to be able to pinch right on back across the side wall run. It's going to be Zero as players starting to drop. Enable left all alone for FaZe. It's a clean break for Orbit as once again they break into the hard point, but it's too little too late. Less than 10 seconds remaining now. FaZe are happy to give that up.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of been the story for Orbit so far. It's like they get control of the hard points like right at the end for the last few seconds or right at the beginning. It's going to be Clay set up inside the middle of HUD here. He's going to throw an nade. He's going to drop pretty quick. And Zuma gets in, and I believe actually I saw Enable switch over to the NV4, so just going to keep a note on that. See if he sticks with it, but no, it looks like in the kill feed he's actually gone back to the OSA. So saw just for one hill, it seemed like Enable switches his weapon, but now goes back to the OSA. They need a little bit more pressure on the hardpoint.
And you know, I actually like that. You look at the angles that he was playing with on the commissary hardpoint. Bit longer range, especially if he's going to be anchoring near like that back pad side of the map. You definitely would prefer something like an MV4.
Well, right. I think they were kind of planning like if they got control of it, he was going to be able to watch that wall run and be able to pick up players with ease from a distance. But some nice kills there by Rated with the K-Bar inside of the hill. And now you see Orbit starting to get some nice time.
As it's going to be FaZe breaking right on in. One player remaining. Three go down for Orbit as FaZe look to set up the spawn trap once again. Enable here to follow up where Zuma left off inside the hardpoint. Time winding down, and they're a little bit late on this rotation. It's Clay's turn all alone. Once again, just like the previous graveyard hardpoint we just saw, Clay alone on rotation. Needs some help from his teammates if they want to solidify the early position. Camo to break in for Joe as he's looking to secure his position inside the hardpoint.
Yeah.
But he does get traded out.
But you see how fast the rest of FaZe is to just rotate over. After Clay gets that one kill, it's going to be Attach and Zuma inside of the hardpoint. They're able to pick up a kill apiece. You see Attach just hunting for players as he needs to push this out, I feel like, Revan. If he pushes this out, spawns the Orbit team a little bit further away, then that's when FaZe can get some good time on this hill.
Yeah, FaZe don't have anybody in the back, so it's going to be Orbit spawning there. Attach now starting to go on a bit of a spree. He's 125 away from those Trinity Rockets. About to earn his rewind as well. 20 seconds remaining. He's going to find one more kill, 50 points away from his next tier score streak. Rewind here if he wants to pop it. Three go down for Orbit. It's been a great hard point so far for FaZe as they're starting to run away with this game.
Yeah, it's really been Clay doing a nice job picking up kills on rotation. Attach currently on a 7 streak, playing quite well here with the OSA as soon as they say that he drops the hands of Dro. It's going to be the side of Orbit. They're going to be rotating over towards the next hard point as you see it pop up. Looks like Clay, the only one over there for FaZe, can go on board with Clay, so he's able to have Zuma there in support. They take out one. They're going to actually use the streaks of Attach, and he's not going to get anybody with it.
Yeah, I hopped over to Zuma. He popped his reactive armor there. It looks like FaZe, they were trying to set up a pinch from both sides of the hardpoint, but Orbit committed over towards Caverns. Camo now popped by Enable as he breaks into the hardpoint, gets the important kill on the player in the back, takes out two, make it 3 for Enable as FaZe break on in, and now it's Enable with streaks to use as well.
And he's in such a great spot to pick up more kills as players come around the corner. You saw Zero just fly around, and Abel just playing such a nice spot here. He has teammates looking over him into the cavern, and he's just able to just play inside of the hill and pick up these kills. But see Urban there picks up 2. Thing that probably breaks it open for Orbit, but I feel like the damage is done as FaZe is just, it's been interesting, Revan, to watch, right? I mean, these hard points, they've seemed like they've kind of gone back and forth, like each hill's contested, but the score is just so lopsided in favor of FaZe.
Well, what's happening is Orbit, they wind up breaking into the hard point when there's 15 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
So then they set up, and it's like, oh, FaZe, they're like, well, okay, you can have the final time here. Let's set up for the next hard point. Scorch is not being called in to force Orbit off of the hard point to go down, make it 3 as Enable finds rated, and Enable still has his streaks to follow up with as FaZe take control of the hard point. They're looking to close out this game pretty soon as they have an 80-point lead. Yeah,
this one is not looking good for Orbit. I feel like with all these streaks coming into play for FaZe now, and already FaZe with a lead, it would be a little bit of a miracle if the side of Orbit was able to make a comeback here.
Rewind is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, looking for kills. He's going to use the rewind. He's got 2 players around him, and Abel's able to get 1. It's Urban, though. He keeps flying in, picking up these 2 pieces for Orbit that opens up the hard points, but you've seen it's just not a consistent way to break.
Yeah, of course. You just look at the general slaying coming from Orbit as bombardment from Enable gets called in. He kills himself and a teammate in the process.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Everybody falls for Orbit. Scrap time should still go in favor of FaZe. It's going to be Urban. Not sure why he's still fighting that. Could have set up over towards the visitor room hard point that's coming up here. Joe around the flank, able to find 1. But once again, I'm going to bring the conversation back towards the slaying from Orbit because it's non-existent right now. Nobody going positive here.
Yeah, and I mean, one of their big players, Zero, right now, he's sitting at double negative. Yeah, just not having a great game. And I feel like that is definitely a huge proponent to why Orbit is not seeing success here. And you see, actually, that was a claw pulled out there for a split second and quickly gets taken out. But I feel like a big reason why Orbit has not been able to hang in this game is Zero. I mean, they rely on him so much in the slaying department. And for him to be 17-33 obviously reflects in the score.
I mean, look, he was such a high-impact player for his use last year. Obviously, his presence isn't felt for this map. It's FaZe 30 seconds away from closing out map 1 here in our Group A winners match. Looking at FaZe, it's everybody chipping in, man. They're all 30 kills and above. They all have over a minute inside the hard point. Such a well-rounded effort for this FaZe team.
You see Attach just pre-firing this doorway, just waiting for opponents to come through. Just going to slide in, watch his back. That's another teammate in the previous door. It's going to be Enable. He's able to just look over him, keep him alive, and you just see the SMG, well, not the SMG players, but the aggressive players, they're using the OSA like it's an SMG for FaZe, just pushing up on the map. Now it's going to be 244, 134. So Urban trying to make his way back towards the wall run, but
lucky he's got propulsion, man. I thought he was going to fall off.
You can pretty much stay in the air forever.
Yeah, you can fly like a bird. It's going to be Urban, though, inside the hard point. He's got rewind, can't shoot through that wall, but he's going to stay alive as Orbit. They're fighting till the very end here. Something I love to see. Starting to get warmed up as well. You see them starting to slay a little bit more around the map. FaZe certainly taking their time to break this hard point, but here comes the flood. 3 go down for Orbit. This could be the final push for FaZe, as there we go. That's going to be game. FaZe closing out map number 1, winning by 90 points.
I feel like almost when you say they're starting to pick it up towards the end of a game like that, it's like
they're already too far down.
So much garbage time. It's like, yeah, like kind of like celebrating that like you're picking up points at the end of an NBA game. It's like not really something to like kind of call home about, but see, it's going to be FaZe winning map number 1, looking as strong as ever here at PSX.
I mean, just look at these the stat lines for FaZe. Zuma, 40 and 29, a minute 14 inside the hard point. Enable, 34 and 29, a minute 37. Clayster, he drops 31 and 28. Everybody going positive for FaZe. Everybody with a minute 14 is the least amount of time that comes in from Zuma because he pushes so far outside the hard point, whereas on the side of Orbit, slaying is just not there.
It's the combination of FaZe's aggression and then also now I think if it helps one team more than any, the fact that, you know, Attach does not have to run the submachine gun anymore. Everybody can run, you know, whether an OSA or a K-bar. And they're all able to just kind of like be interchangeable parts, just do things differently. Whether, you know, Attach sometimes gets there first, and now he's anchoring the position, and Clay's playing inside. It just gives them so many more options that they would not have had otherwise.
All right, so now we look ahead in the series as FaZe now up 1-0 in the map count. Looks like it's going to be a retaliation, search and destroy coming up next. Now, we just saw it played in the previous series. We saw how Renegades like to spread out across the map, you know, for hitting whichever bomb site they wanted to go. It feels like obviously the offense could dictate where the action happens, but the defense, they have to figure out a setup where they could have a presence near both bomb sites. Maybe you have somebody play like way back in the market to cover, you know, the A bomb site where it's still being aggressive over towards B. This one's tough to play on the defensive end.
Yeah, because it's so big. It's just so spread out as well that I feel like you want to cover both, right?
Yeah.
And you can't just stack 2 players at each bomb site because you leave the
just get overwhelmed.
Middle of the map open. You get overwhelmed by just the 4 stack. And it's like, well, what do you do? Do you just force stack yourselves and just kind of go check one side, clear it out, and then just rotate over to the other? I don't think either team, well, I don't want to say either of these teams. I don't think any team has really figured out search and destroy
It's still
yet.
so early.
Because one, it's so early, right? And then a lot of the time, search and destroy, they don't practice it as much. Like, it's not something where they'll play it in scrims or whatnot. They usually like to keep their strategies a little bit more close to the vest. They don't want to put them out there. Where I feel like, teams come in and they have an idea of what they want to try, but they just don't know if it works.
I mean, look, it's always good to have a plan whenever you're going